old school section. We have all the classics like Atari 2600, 5200, 7800, Intellivision, Odyssey. It's the good stuff. The Nintendo 8-bit. Got some nice mint Vectrex games in recently, fresh from the case. Have systems. Unfortunately, I have too many DVDs that should not be here. Oh, there's my favorite Atari jacket up there too. And a little TV station to test out systems and that, the newer stuff. Got a Wii 360. Here's a nice cool item. Mountain Dew Xbox. I think they made like 2,000 of these. Very cool system. Bright green. Now we get to the 16-bit section, the Sega Genesis, the Super Nintendo, when the game you got almost as good as the actual arcades, I'd say. You have the clone system, the FC Twin. We also carry the FC Mobile, the Neo Geo CD system, or PlayStation 1 games. 64-bit. Nintendo 64. I recently added a shelf because we got too many of them. They just take up a lot of room. No way to easily organize them because they're such a weird shape. A whole lot of PS2. Got a cool chainsaw up there. Bullets football. The original Xbox. Of course, you can only carry the Samsung Drive Xbox system because the other ones always die. A lot of Xbox games, maybe too much. Go to the Wii, which also plays the GameCube games. You get the GameCube games with those as well. And the newest Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 systems. And for some reason I carry slot machines as well. I got addicted to those. And there's a handheld counter for the Game Boy DS, Game Boy Advance. A lot of my rare classic collector's items I've already packed up for the video game show this weekend. That's the CCAG. But we got stuff like Turbo CD games. Here's a Radiant Silver Gun for Saturn. Very good shooter. These are all imports in here. Wang Chung ones you won't understand, but a lot of the imports are actually very American. You can play like Smash Brothers and that. There's Diddy Kong Racing. Super Famicom games. Got the Famicom games. They're all like half size regular Nintendo games. They're smart, I made them smaller. And a whole lot more stuff packed on there that'll be at the show. So, go to the show. I've been here for 15 years now, and I'd say lately the classic scene's gotten bigger actually, so which is a good thing. I think people with the economy being bad or just going back playing their childhood games are cheaper and funner if you ask me. It's not all about the graphics in the game. If the game is fun, it's fun. It's about play control. Achievement points mean nothing when a game isn't fun. Nintendo and Super Nintendo have always been popular. I think collectors really are into Super Nintendo now because the boxes are hard to find. If you find a nice box Super Nintendo game, it's going to be good to have if the box is in that shape. Sega games, because their boxes are plastic, are usually in good shape and they don't lose them, so they don't carry as much value. But a mint box Super Nintendo game or regular Nintendo games, people are hunting for those. So we get collectors into it, and we get just casual players wanting to buy a Sega Genesis. A lot of it is adults buying games for their kids that they want to show them what they grew up playing, and they played Sega, so they want to show them what Sega was like, and the kids dig it. They'll play NBA Jam and love it. So it's both. It's collectors and players. I personally, as far as collecting, I like Sega Genesis the best because it's cheap and fun, easy to collect. You can get a huge collection for virtually nothing. A lot of the games are very good on it. When it first came out, I thought it blew the heck out of Super Nintendo because the processor speed is so much faster. Of course, later Super Nintendo games got to be a little more graphics and they had better sound. But yeah, I love Sega Genesis. To play, I play Xbox 360, but I'll play Nintendo 8-bit. I'll play even a game of Kaboom on 2600. I'll play it all. Yeah. Cool. I actually was lucky enough to buy up all the Cheetah 2s for the Nintendo 8-bit quite a while back. Unfortunately, I sold them before the value really increased. Nowadays, the Cheetah 2 might get like $1,000. I think the most I ever got was 60 to 80 bucks. I remember when I first got them, I could not give them away. I had them on the wall for $19.95. Sold a few at that price. I even gave a few away to local record exchanges. Sold a few to my friends at cost. I think it was $6 each. I I know recently my buddy sold his. I think he got between 600 and 800 bucks for his, and didn't even buy me a beer. Rob, way to go! All right.
Any sealed stuff or?
Oh, I also had a collection I bought out probably about 12 years ago. A person out of his house had a listing, and I think it was just a plain dealer, and I bought every Nintendo game he had. I think the average price was like $3 a piece, and his collection must have been 600 different Nintendo games. So I had almost every good game you could have, like Dragon Warrior 4 sealed. That whole wall was full of them, and they were selling for $5 to $10 at the time. Weren't going for a lot. I remember wholesaling some of the buddies at flea markets. I think the most I ever got a game might have been like $30 for a Tengen Tetra sealed, because back then they weren't huge. Nowadays those games that sold for $10 might be $400. So took a loss, but you live and learn. I had the games, I had to turn them over at the time. I needed to make the money to pay the bills, so you do what you got to do. I took an Atari 2600 Polo prototype here. I didn't even know what the game was when I took it in. It was an Atari game without a label on it. So I went ahead and bought it. The usual price, we gave 25 cents a game. I think it was like 17, 18 cents cash for common games. I figured it's missing a label, it's garbage. I go to plug it in one day, I'm like, hey, there's like Polo on this. What is this, And this is before I actually became a collector. And I saw a list, might have been Atari Age or something, and it said UP, Emily's prototype, whatever, and had stars by it, left worth some money. I think I sold to my friend, not knowing how much worth it, $20 or something like that. Value ended up going for about, I think $3,500 you got out of it. Funny story, it actually came back to me to be resold. I fronted my friend some money to start his store up. His store got robbed of my stock. He then had to pay me back for the stock he got robbed. The way he paid me back is give me the Polo prototype back. I then sold that to remake the cash to pay me back. So Polo came back, but it went from a 17-cent game to a $3,500 game. That's kind of funny. Only other real rare game I got here, not too long ago, I bought a Coke Wins Pepsi Invaders as box complete 2600 prototype. Just Space Invaders, but shooting out Pepsi words, but it's pretty cool. I would have loved to kept it, but I needed the cash, so I sold it, gone. I used to collect 2600 a lot when I was a kid and buy every game when it came out at Sears and then sell them. And I remember selling a whole lot of my collection at actually the local flea market, Memphis Flea Market up here. And just about 3 years ago, which would be about maybe 20 years after I had sold it there, I rebought some of the exact games I sold there, box complete, still with my autograph on them, saying 50 cents with my initials on a piece of sticker, stickered on there, just as it was when I sold it 20 years ago at the flea market. So it's cool rebuying my own games I had sold back there 2 decades ago.